The guy behind me is so fucking annoying. It's our duty, you know. Our duty as American men. We need to spread our seed. We need to fill the streets with high-value citizens with good morals. Uh-huh. The poor guy next to him has been listening to this for 20 minutes now. He made the mistake of asking Mr. Macho how his day was going. And feminism? It's a blight. It's an excuse for women to avoid their sacred duty. Childbirth. Oh, wow. Yeah, wow. These fucking feminazis. You know, women were happier back when they couldn't work. That's a fact. They set their own damn gender back, and ours along with it. That's crazy. I clench my teeth and burrow into my neck pillow. I should have put out for first class. Passengers are advised to remain seated as we may experience some slight turbulence. I try to take advantage of the complimentary earplugs. They only muffle the sound of the incessant talking behind me. And you see them everywhere with their crazy hair and... You know what? I have to shit. I hear the muffled sound of a seatbelt click. Sir? I'm sorry, sir. The fasten. Seatbelt sign is on. I can't see the flight attendant due to the sleep mask I've elected to wear. She sounds apologetic. I'll be really quick, I promise. I'm so sorry, sir, it's against guidelines. There's an initial, sound of glass cracking, then a roar of wind accompanied by a rush of cold air. There's beeping and people start screaming. The plane begins to violently shake. Oh my God, she's dead! I don't know what to do, she's bleeding out! I need to call my mom, where's my phone? The voices all blend together, in a muffled cacophony of horror. I'm frozen in place, clinging to my armrests. Is this how I die? Passengers are advised to remain calm. Something hit us. We're not sure what. We're gonna make an emergency landing on the nearest stretch of land. Please, stay seated and remain calm. The plane rumbles and shakes. I think about my sister. Was last night the last time I'll ever see her? I didn't even say I love you. Is she alive? I think she moved. I hear a concerned voice ahead of me. At this point, I take out the earplugs. The sound of wind shrieking through the cabin becomes painfully clear. My belt is already undone. I'll check on her. I recognize this guy's voice, the one who was going to take a shit. There's more turbulence, but finally people are starting to calm down and scream less. She's bleeding from the head and she's knocked out, but she's alive. Is anyone here a doctor? For some reason, I still haven't taken my sleep mask off. Maybe I'm scared to see how bad it is. I'm a doctor. Keep her steady where she is until we make a landing. The voice is deep and coming from way ahead of me. I hear someone mutter a prayer. It seems like forever before we begin our shaky descent. Where are we landing? I don't see any buildings. That girl needs a hospital. I hope to God there's civilization. I'm not getting any service. I don't take off the sleep mask until the plane has made a complete stop. I look around the cabin. It seems surreal. There's a window with a hole in it. Minuscule glass shards litter the aisle. Various people are bleeding from the face or limbs. A man in his mid-20s is hyperventilating, and several people are crying. Other than the flight attendant, no one seems seriously injured. The flight attendant is being tended to by a gray-haired man. A young guy in a beanie hovers over them, both. I assume he's the one who went to check on her. Is she gonna be okay? It's the guy behind me. The annoying one. He has a fresh cut under his eye. The doctor looks serious. There's something embedded in her skull. Someone gasps. What? Is it a piece of glass? How the hell is she still alive? No offense. The gray-haired man shakes his head. It's not glass. It appears to be small and circular. He points to the hole in the window. I presume it came from there. Everyone tuned into the conversation looks toward the hole. It's the size of a quarter with cracks spreading out from the edges. How? Is she still alive? It's the guy with the beanie asking. The doctor shrugs. It can happen. I'm not a neurologist, so I can't go into detail. The important thing is that we move her as little as possible until aid arrives. Ladies and gentlemen, although we have successfully landed the plane, we are not yet prepared to disembark. Unfortunately, due to the emergency situation, we had to land somewhere off the charts. Please stand by and food and beverages will be provided. I spend the next hour milling around the cabin and peering out windows. We landed in a sparse and shrubby field. Dense jungle surrounds us on all sides. I catch bits of conversation here and there. Where are we? Did he say off the charts? How long will it take for people to come get us? I only paid the cat sitter till Friday. Stranded, on a friggin' deserted island. Just my luck. I have a few songs downloaded on my phone, but no headphones or privacy. I take a few selfies to pass the time. Typical female, taking a friggin' selfie after a plane crash. I look up to see the guy with a cut on his face leering at me from across the aisle. I wonder if a response is worth my energy. Oh my. Gosh, bro, we get it. You're the alpha male. I look to see a dark-haired woman in a soft pink sweater. We didn't crash, Einstein. We made an emergency landing. Let the lady take her pictures in peace. He glares at her. Nobody asked you to join the conversation. Well, nobody asked you to start the conversation, I chime in. He huffs and looks away before sauntering off, hands in his pockets. What a waste of a human. The girl in the pink sweater narrows her eyes at him before smiling in my direction. I'm Julia, by the way. I smile. I'm Chloe. Yeah, I'm definitely scared for the next generation. We chat until the captain announces they've readied the boarding stairs for exit. They have everyone who leaves the craft write their names on a sign-out sheet. Julia and I sign out together before emerging into the brisk twilight. The field is large enough that you could fit a couple football fields in it, side by side. There are a few small birds flitting from one bush to another, but other than that, not much wildlife in sight. Although the sun is hidden, there are a few red streaks in the sky. Julia smiles at me before flicking a lighter. Do you know how to build a fire? 10 minutes later, I'm still looking for kindling. The first batch I brought Julia was evidently too wet or too green or something like that. I've never been big on camping, so I don't know. I keep the white rear of the plane in sight as I fight my way through huge leaves and hidden gnarled roots sticking above the ground. It's hot. I'm sticky with sweat by the time my arms are filled with dry twigs. I hear the buzzing noise of insects and the sound of frogs starting a chorus nearby. This is enough to start a fire, right? I glance back toward the direction of the plane. See a colorful bird perched on a branch looking at me. Oh shit, it's a parrot. Oh shit, it's a parrot. The bird mimics me in a squawking fashion. Oh shit, it's a parrot. I chuckle. It flutters its wings and cocks its head to the side. Don't open the door. I stop chuckling and stare. It squawks and repeats itself. Don't open the door. What the actual fuck? The parrot squawks once more before flapping away. A feeling of dread begins to knot in my stomach. I rationalize on my way back to the field. I figure it was probably mimicking another passenger from some time earlier today. By the time I reach the designated spot for the fire, I've brushed it off completely. Julia is waiting with a small pile of dry sticks and brush for tinder. She smiles in my direction. Good haul. That'll catch faster than the other stuff for sure. We don't hear from the flight crew until the wood has turned to glowing embers. Sorry to keep you waiting, everyone. So it looks like there's been a little trouble with the GPS signal. Help is on the way, but they may not be here until tomorrow. Those fires are a good idea. They'll help them track us down. So I'm going to spend my grandkid's birthday in the middle of nowhere? I can't be here much longer. I only packed so much medication. The lawsuit is going to go crazy, though. The co-pilot tries to calm everyone down. Rest assured, you will all be compensated appropriately. Goddamn right, I'll be compensated. I've been traumatized. I tune out the clamor and go visit the plane bathroom. After washing my face, I stare at myself in the mirror. What even is my life right now? Someone knocks on the bathroom door. Occupied. I check my teeth for leftover granola bar. They knock again, slower. I glare at the door. I've been in here 2 minutes, seriously? Occupied. There's a moment of silence, then someone starts pounding on the door. My heart beats loudly. Are they crazy? Hold on a second, I shout. I consider for a moment, then I take a deep breath and yank open the door. Now I don't know who raised you. There's no one there. I look around the small hallway surrounding the bathroom. Empty. I check the cabin. Most people are on the other end, where the lights have been dimmed for slumber. The only person in close proximity to the restroom is the unconscious flight attendant. I notice she looks extremely pale. My heart skips a beat for a moment. Is she dead? Her chest rises ever so slightly. I exhale in relief. I don't know what's keeping her alive. I jump at the unexpected. Voice, "Oh gosh, you scared me!" It's the gray-haired doctor. He looks tired. There are gray shadows under his eyes. He cracks a smile. Sorry, I clear my throat. What do you mean by that? I thought you said injuries like that are survivable. Well, I said it can happen. That said, most people who survive intense injuries like this receive immediate care. It's been over 6 hours now, and all I've done is stop the bleeding. However, her condition remains much the same. It's very strange. We make introductions. Martin is 55. He got his degree at 32 and is happily married for 20 years with 2 daughters and a labradoodle. He is also very talkative. When I finally escape the conversation, I'm tired enough to pass out. Slumber hits like a speeding truck as soon as I don my sleep mask. The next morning begins with the sound of someone's child screaming about an iPad. After my rude awakening, I help myself to a bag of pretzels and a juice box. After signing out, I leave the plane and head to the site of Julia's fire. I figure I'll kill time by trying to build one myself. Julia is there already, holding her, hands over a steady blaze. Morning, sunshine. Good morning. Did you hear the news? What news? They pinpointed our location. They've dispatched people to get us who should arrive in 6 hours or so. Ugh, finally! I'm so friggin' bored I want to puke! Julia throws her hands in the air. Ha ha. Well, how do you want to kill time? We decide to explore. Not crazy far, obviously. We agree to keep the campfire smoke in our line of sight at all times. Can I join you guys? It's the red-pilled frat bro. I didn't even realize he was in the vicinity. Creepy. Why do you want to come with us? Don't you hate women? Julia snickers. I snort. He glares and looks at the ground. I don't hate women. Okay, whatever you say, dude. We're not really going far, so there could be animals. We look at him in derision. Wild animals. I break out laughing. Well, duh, Julia giggles. He seems to get embarrassed by this. As he turns to leave, I feel a twinge of guilt. Wait, I sigh. I'm cool with it if Julia is. She shoots me a look like, you sure? I nod, and she shrugs nonchalantly. Okay, whatever. You can come. I turn toward frat bro. What's your name, by the way? I'm Chloe, and this is Julia. Luke. Nice to meet you, Luke. As we traverse through the humid landscape, Julia and Luke argue politics. They're in the middle of a heated debate about Trump when I see something glint in the distance. Do you guys see that? Yeah. What is that? Let's check it out. Nothing better to do. After 20 minutes of hiking, we arrive at the source of the glint. Oh, wow. It's a small plane, partially covered with vines and dead foliage. Shit, how old is this thing? Looks like it's been here a while. Luke tries the door to the cockpit. Rust flakes off as it creaks open. Careful! We don't know how dangerous that is. I don't like the look of the thing. Something about it gives me the creeps. Yeah. Luke does a quick scan of the side of the plane. Interesting? What? He ignores me and climbs inside. After several minutes of rummaging, Luke emerges with what looks like an orange hunk of metal. Is this the black box? Julia shrugs. I don't know planes. Yeah, I'm not really mechanically inclined myself. I look defeatedly at the metallic square. Well, you are women. Luke scratches his head absently. I look at Julia like, can you believe this guy? Our eyes lock before something whizzes past me into her skull. There's a dulled cracking sound. A squelch. Julia stays upright for a moment, eyes filled with humorous indignation. Then she falls sideways. Blood begins to soak into the ground around her head. Julia? I'm speaking loudly, but my voice seems far away. Julia? Oh my God. Luke drops the metal box. It lands with a dull thud. I don't understand. I still hear my voice like it's disconnected from my body. I don't Chloe! Luke grabs my arm and shakes it. Look at Julia. I look. Her chest is moving. I lean in to hear shallow, gurgling gasps. Somehow, inexplicably, she's still breathing. I look at Luke in disbelief. He's pale. To his credit, he bursts into action before I do. He hurriedly takes his t-shirt off and rips it apart, fashioning a makeshift bandage. While gingerly wrapping it around her head, he starts barking orders. "Snap out of it, woman! Hand me the black!" "Box! Grab her feet, now lift!" Still in a daze, I do as he says. She's heavier than I expected. A water droplet lands on Julia's shoe, and for a second I think it's about to start raining. I feel a tickle on my chin and realize I'm crying. It takes 20 minutes to get a quarter of the way back. We take a break, laying Julia gently on the soil. She's bled through half the makeshift bandage, but continues to breathe. What the fuck was that? I've finally come to my senses enough to question what just happened. Did someone shoot her? Luke looks grim. That wasn't a bullet. He looks back in the direction we came from, then turns to me with an odd look in his eyes. Did you see it? Yeah, I saw it. It went straight into her fucking head, man. He shakes his head. Not that. On the plane. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm beginning to get exasperated. There was a hole in the side of the plane. He looks at me like he expects me to understand. The size of a quarter, I splutter. I fucking know, man. That's why we got stuck here to begin with. Not our plane. That one. He points back the way we came. It takes a second for me to understand. Then my stomach sinks. Something is, I swallow, shooting down planes, intentionally. He looks at Julia. I notice his hands are trembling. Not just planes. I run behind a tree and throw up bile. This is all too much. We don't talk for a while. Eventually, we resume the brutal hike. My muscles are screaming by the time we get back to the field. Someone sees us coming and people run to help. After handing Julia off, I sink to the ground, exhausted. Luke collapses next to me. I want to sleep and forget everything that's happened since yesterday. I close my eyes. I got the black box. I open my eyes. What? The black box. Whatever happened to the people who crashed here, I want to know. I look over to see resolution on his face. I'm too tired to respond. I blink, and it's nighttime. I look around me in a haze and see I'm lying on a blanket in front of the loading stairs. There are multiple fires going, and several groups of people are making conversation in low voices. I address the group nearest me. Did rescue not come yet? A middle-aged woman answers me. No, honey. There's a hurricane warning somewhere en route and they had to delay. They say tomorrow for sure. I thank her and head inside the plane, rubbing sleep from my eyes. I need to pee. After visiting the restroom, I prepare myself mentally in case Julia took a turn for the worse as I slept. I enter the cabin to see Dr. Martin applying new bandages to the flight attendant. Julia is lying next to her, freshly bandaged herself. Hey, Martin, how's Julia? He looks up with an exhausted expression. The shadows under his eyes have darkened. He sighs. I'm going to be perfectly honest here. Neither of these girls should be alive. I blink. What do you mean? He runs a hand through his hair in agitation. I've never seen anything like it. They both have severe cranial injuries that should have killed them on impact. However, Isabel has remained in a state of unconsciousness since yesterday and continues to breathe steadily. And now the exact same thing is happening to Julia. It's unheard of. I look at Julia. She seems peaceful. It's funny to think I didn't even know her yesterday, and now all I want is for her to be okay. I'm grabbing another juice box when I hear muffled shouting coming from the front of the plane. There's something going on here, and it's been happening for decades. It's Luke's voice. My curiosity is instantly piqued. I'm about to head in his direction when Luke barges through the cabin doors and sees me. Chloe, you need to see this. I follow him into the cockpit. I see the captain and co-pilot, both wearing grim expressions. Is it the black box? Did you guys figure out how to listen to it? The co-pilot clears her throat. Any audio recording made with the CVR would be illegal to share with the public. We did transfer the data over to the proper authorities earlier today, and they were able to send back this. She hands me several sheets of paper that contain printed dialogue. I'm confused. So we can read it, but we can't listen to it? Exactly. Cool, cool. I scan the first few pages of documents. Pretty boring stuff. Look at what we underlined in red. I turn the pages to see this. When I read the last part, the parrot in the jungle comes to my mind. I know it must be a coincidence, but the knot in my stomach curls tight all the same. I search for more words underlined in red, but there's none. Is that all? I look at the others. That's the last conversation recorded in the cockpit. The captain speaks up. The plane itself went down in 82x. They weren't professionals by any means, just a couple kids with brand new certificates. The plane itself belonged to one of their uncles. I stare at the pages in my hands, searching for hidden meaning. Later that night, I sit by Julia's side. I hold her hand. It's warm. It's not until that moment that I realize I don't even know her last name. Sleep eludes me. I'm crying when the sun rises. I'm sure my eyes are puffy as hell, so I go to the bathroom to wash my face before the other passengers wake up and a line develops. Mid-wash, I hear the sound of glass breaking. My heart drops as I hear screams coming from the cabin. Is it happening again? I don't know what to do. I try to calm myself down, but there are terrifying noises coming from outside. My heart pounds and adrenaline races through my veins. I cover my ears to block the wails and screams of agony. There's sudden silence. As I slowly lower my arms, I notice myself in the mirror. My eyes are still puffy from crying. I take a deep breath before I emerge from the bathroom, readying myself for the worst. I'm not ready for what I see. Every passenger who had been sleeping in this area is now dead. They all have holes in their heads that are gushing blood. It seeps into various dark puddles on the blue nylon carpet. Every single window is broken. Any glass that remains intact is riddled with holes. I see Martin, the doctor, lying in the aisle. He's missing an eyeball. I gag. My brain can't handle what it's seeing. I'm about to completely lose it when I notice that they're all still breathing. What's going on? I yell to no one in particular. I feel like I'm going insane. Chloe? I look at the source of the voice. It's Luke. He beckons me to come to the cockpit. Hurry! He looks around like we're being watched. I stumble to him in a daze. Upon reaching the cockpit, I see the captain and the co-pilot are there already. Listen, Chloe. Something's going on here. We three have been up all night speaking with contacts at the radio tower. Luke is speaking erratically, maybe due to shock. Since the 70s, planes have been going missing in this area. In 1992, there was a message broadcast on a short wave frequency. It was caught by a freighter hauling cargo not 10 miles from here. The message was repeating one thing over and over. The knot in my stomach solidifies. I know what he's about to say before he says it. Don't open the door. I start crying. I can't help it. Dr. Martin's mutilated face keeps appearing in my mind. She doesn't want to hear it right now, Luke. The co-pilot glances at the door, obviously shaken. We need to figure out what's happening before it happens to us. He slams his hand on the table, making underlined documents flutter to the floor. I sniff and wipe my eyes. He's right. There's no way to know which one of us will be next. The captain is looking out the window. If we could find out what triggers this, I think of all the incidents since the first window broke. I lick my lips before speaking and taste salt. I don't think there is a trigger. Everyone looks solemn. Then there's a knock on the cockpit door. I step forward to open it, but the co-pilot grabs my arm. I look back at her to see a cautious look on her face. She mouths the words, "We don't know who that is." They knock again. I'm getting flashbacks of when someone was pounding on the bathroom door. My nerves are so frayed already I can't take another minute of suspense. Who's there? My voice is tinged with tears and frustration. Chloe, is that you? My heart skips a beat. No fucking way. I open the door and it's her. Her bandage is spotted with red, but she's standing and speaking to me. Julia. My eyes fill my tears. Are you okay? How are you standing right now? Whatever they shot at you is still... I stop myself. I don't want to scare her. She touches her bandaged forehead gingerly and winces. Someone shot at me? I wipe my eyes and laugh. I'm just so happy to see that she seems okay. The captain speaks from behind me. I was just in contact with the radio tower. Aid should arrive within the hour. Hope flickers in me. If Aid can get here in time to keep her condition stable. A whimpering sound interrupts my train of thought. I look to see Julia clamping her hands over her ears. Ah! It's so loud! I don't hear anything. I look at the others for confirmation. The co-pilot looks grim and shakes her head, indicating she doesn't hear anything either. The captain is back on the line with control, saying something about needing a neuro specialist. Luke looks like he's about to cry. I don't know what to do. For a moment I want to run for Martin, but then I remember, and I have to sweep that memory away because Julia is screaming now and I don't know what to do. It's too loud in here, I can't do this anymore. Julia starts to run for the exit, hands held tightly to her ears. Julia, wait! I start to run after her, but the co-pilot holds me back. We need to wait for aid. The co-pilot is a petite lady, but her grip is incredibly strong. Luke! I look desperately in his direction, but he doesn't need my prompting. He pushes past the captain and hurtles out the door, trailing just behind Julia. I break free of the co-pilot's grip with a twist of the arm, making her yelp. As I run for the door, I hear her shout after me. She's got brain damage. You won't be able to bring her back safely. We need to stick together and wait for aid. She shouts more, but I can't hear the rest. I was the fastest in track in my high school days, and I've still got something to show for it. I've almost caught up to Luke when we pass the edge of the field. This time, we're heading in the opposite direction of where we discovered the small plane. The jungle here is denser, the trees are bigger, and huge leaves block the sun in every direction. The deeper we go, the darker it gets. I hear birds screeching in the trees, but I can't see them. I hear sobbing ahead of us. It makes me want to cry hearing how much pain she's in. I run as fast as my feet can take me. Julia, wait! I pull, ahead of Luke. I burst into a small clearing, surrounded on all sides by huge mossy trunks with gnarled roots as tall as my waist. The sun is completely blocked here, and it's strangely quiet. All the chittering animals' noises are gone, even the buzzing of insects. I see Julia standing in the middle of the clearing with her back to me, arms erected at her sides. I'm out of breath, gasping for air. I don't know how a friggin' coma. Patient is in better shape than I am, but she seems fine, perfectly still. Julia? I whisper. Does your head still hurt? She collapses to the ground. I hear movement in the bushes behind me, and Luke bursts into the clearing, head swiveling, back and forth. When he sees Julia, he runs in our direction. I rush to her side, propping her body up. I keep thinking about what the co-pilot was yelling about, how she has brain damage. Julia's eyes are wide and unblinking. She gasps and points to what looks like a pile of dead foliage. Uncover it, she whispers softly. I don't know what the hell she's talking about, but she might be about to die and I don't want to ignore her possible last request. I go to the pile and start moving dead branches and leaves. As I move a particularly heavy branch, I hear the sound of scraping on wood. Curious, I move faster and soon uncover what looks like an ancient wooden trapdoor. As I brush clumps of wet dirt away with my hand, I hear a strange giggle. I look to see Julia with the oddest expression on her face, one that turns my stomach. She looks grotesquely gleeful. What are you guys doing? Julia, are you okay? Luke approaches from behind as I try to still my pounding heart. Why had Julia's smile in that moment seemed so sinister? I look at the door. At first glance, the wood seems black, but upon closer inspection, it's a deep red, darker than blood. There are foreign symbols etched on the rim. I'm wondering what these inscriptions read when Julia winces and starts to groan in pain, holding her hands to her head. I rush to her side once more, desperation rising in me. I also can't ignore the growing dread, the timed crashes, the parrot, the warnings. I look at the hieroglyphics on the surface of the wood, And I know with every inch of my being that no matter what anyone says, I will never even touch the metal handle. Not 2 seconds after I have this revelation, Julia lifts her head weakly, looking at me with something like disgust in her eyes. I'm taken aback, but the look is gone a blink later. Now she's facing Luke with a pleading look in her eyes. "Open that, will you?" When she says it, waves of nausea roll through me. I shudder. Something is wrong. Very wrong. I look around the dense jungle around us and my heart freezes in my chest. There are people standing all around us, forming a large circle in the shadows. They came so quietly I hadn't noticed their presence till this very moment. It's dark in this part of the jungle, but eventually my gaze focuses and I have to wonder if I'm in some sick nightmare. It's the passengers. They're all covered in dried blood, but I recognize several faces. Isabel, Martin. I see the kind middle-aged woman who told me aid would be coming today. Her mouth is gone. A gaping hole with black blood caked around the edges is in its place. They're all watching in anticipation. They all wear huge grins. I turn back to warn Luke, but I'm not fast enough. In the moments it takes for me to process the horror, he has already grasped the dark metal handle. I open my mouth to speak, but the creak of the door is just faster. His eyes widen at something behind the door. There's no sound, no indication of immediate danger. I see movement from the people around us and follow it with my eyes without thinking. I see something small and dark launch itself from the head of every passenger in the circle. The orb things seem to float for just a second in midair, dripping blood. In that second, every man, woman, and child fall to the ground, like puppets, with severed strings. The dark orbs move so quickly I can't react. 1 second, Luke is staring into the door, eyes widened in disbelief. The next second, his body is riddled with holes. His eyes are bloody pits. His face is unrecognizable. As his body hits the ground, I stare. It's all happening too quickly to scream or do anything, really. There's a moment where it's just me in the silence, surrounded by corpses. I lift my hand to wipe something from my eyes and see it's covered in blood. I look down to see if I'm full of holes too, but it must be Luke's because I'm fine. Then I hear a cracking, a buzzing, a chewing. I look at Luke and his mottled remains are moving. I see movement through the holes and want to throw up because there is something crawling under his skin. On reflex, I crawl backwards in a panic, bumping into Julia. Her bandage has a hole torn through it, fresh blood leaking out. Her eyes are wide and unblinking and she's not breathing anymore. I hear bones snapping and wet chewing and turn to see all that remains of Luke is being devoured by little creatures that resemble centipedes. After he's completely gone, they move in my direction. I scream and skitter away only to trip on a root. I look behind me as I try to scramble to my feet to see that they weren't coming for me. I watch as Julia's body is submerged in a squirming sea of black. When the horrific sounds begin again, I turn to run. When I put pressure on my foot, I scream in agony. The pain is so sharp. I must have heard it when I fell. I decide to just fucking crawl and book it as fast as my hands and knees will take me. I'm not even past the circle of bodies when I hear the buzzing behind me rise into the air. I turn around in horror to see the insect-like creatures have grown rapidly and evolved wings. They rise in a swarm and once again head in my direction. I scream and crawl faster, but once again they ignore me and head instead to feast on the bodies around me. I want desperately to crawl as fast as I can underneath them and into the dense jungle beyond, but I fear that will trigger them into eating me too. I cover my ears, but it only muffles the sounds. I close my eyes, thinking once again of my sister. If they eat me, there won't even be a body to bury. I sob. When the noise finally stops, I look around for the danger. The creatures are huge now, the width of rats and long. They seem to sniff the ground, making chittering sounds. One of them floats to the entrance of the trapdoor and goes inside. One by one, the others follow its lead. I might as well be invisible to them. When the last creature has entered the door, I wait a moment. I slowly crawl the distance. I approach from the side. When I reach the door, I grab the handle and take a deep breath before looking inside. Within an entrance just large enough for a person to fit through is infinite darkness. broken up by billions of stars and galaxies. I see a black hole in the vast distance with strange and unfathomably large beings slithering into it. For the briefest fraction of a second, I'm tempted to fall in and drift forever in that mysterious void. My sister's face comes to mind. I close the door. I rebury it, shoveling the damp soil and dead leaves with my bare hands until the surface is completely covered. When I'm finished, I slowly crawl away from that part of the jungle, my arms caked with dirt and dried blood. Start to hear the sounds of life again. I hear birds and the distant noise of helicopters. It takes forever to crawl back to the plane. It's swarming with professional people in neon uniforms. They give me a blanket and ask whose blood I'm covered in. They ask about the missing passengers. I see the captain and co-pilot with a few other people, including the guy with the beanie. They found more survivors. In the ensuing months, I'm interrogated by law enforcement from around the world. They want to know where the bodies are, and I can't tell them. They sent teams in, of course. Those teams find the wreckage of 17 planes. Going back to the 70s, like Luke said, they don't find a single body. I keep my ears open but never hear news about government workers taking over the island or anything. I figure if they had found the door, the place would be swarming with scientists by now. I hope to God they never do. If people were to find it and open it, who knows what the ramifications would be. I'm arrested for suspicion of kidnapping and murder because of all the blood and eventually released. They figure at the end of it all that I must be a victim too. They have to guess because I stopped speaking after the island. Sometimes I have nightmares of the moment right before Luke opened the trapdoor. In my dreams, he seems to move in slow motion as he reaches for the handle, giving me time to say the words I couldn't in real life. The only times I ever speak are when I wake up screaming, repeating that endless refrain. Thanks for diving into this story with me. Don't miss out on the next one. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think.